I take care of the external relations for the Menachem Begin Heritage Center and Foundation, and all of you probably have gotten an email from me at one time or another. Welcome to the special screening of Senator Joe Lieberman. I'd like to first thank Rob Schwartz, who isn't here. He came to us a few years ago to pitch the idea of making a film about Menachem Begin. We were skeptical, but he managed to create an excellent documentary about Menachem Begin, Upheaval, the Journey of Menachem Begin. His next big film was in honor of his friend and mentor, Joe Lieberman, Zichrono Livracha, and knowing Rob as we now did, we had no doubt that he would get it done. As executive producer of both films, he has done great work. Thanks also to Jonathan Gruber, who I think he's not here either, the director, for creating these two excellent films. And a big thanks to Hidden Light Institute, the organization that made the whole thing possible. There are hundreds of other people to thank, and you'll have to read all their names very quickly in the credits. I'd also like to thank Honey Lowenstein, Joe and Hadassah's daughter, for initiating this special screening. And a special thank you to Hadassah Lieberman for coming all the way to Israel to join us for this screening. And if you'll indulge me for a moment, I'd like to share a personal anecdote. Many years ago, Joe dropped by the Begin Center, and my boss at the time, Harry Hurwitz, Zichrono Livracha, greeted him and called me as a token American to also say hello. He always teased me about my hometown, Yakima, Washington, as if it... Seattle is close, but it's not Yakima. My hometown, Yakima, Washington, I'm so glad you've come, as if it wasn't quite possible that it was a real place. Yakima, for the three other people who don't know, is famous for apples, hops, and wineries. Also, it's a red district in a blue state, on the other side of the country from Connecticut, so my hopes were not very high about Joe knowing about Yakima. So I go to meet the senator. I'm introduced by Harry as a girl from Yakima, Washington. Joe shakes my hand, looks me right in the eye, and says, "Racing strollers, right?" Now you might think, that's not one of the big three that I just mentioned. No, first you have to know what racing strollers are, and that the couple who invented racing strollers lived in Yakima and built their racing strollers there. So Joe knew about Yakima. After that, anytime Harry mentioned Yakima, he still joked about the reality of the place, but I reminded him that Joe Lieberman knew that Yakima truly existed. In the spirit of honoring our long friendship, the Begin Center is very pleased to be hosting this second screening of Centered to Remember Joe, one of the kindest and most sincere people I have ever met, who also knows about Yakima. And now it is my honor and privilege to introduce Joe's better half and a powerhouse in her own right, Hadassah Lieberman.